when I was younger, conspiracies, I was into conspiracies all the time, but and I always wish they were real, and some of them I knew were probably bullshit, but they're fun. They're entertainment. That's how I treat them. But now that I'm 34, I almost wish conspiracies weren't real, because we got the Navy releasing UFO videos, which they always denied. You got a Space Force. I just saw a Space Force commercial where it's like futuristic as fuck, which I'm all for, but it's scary. And you got SpaceX. You got it's just like, what the fuck?
Well, dude, they say the military is 50 years ahead of what they give to the public.
Yeah.
So they got some shit, man. So if they have a Space Force, just imagine what they have that they need a Space Force for.
You ever hear the story about Nixon taking I think it was Nixon. Yeah, Nixon one night, if you haven't listened to the Nixon tapes, please watch this documentary called The Nixon Tapes.
You mentioned that last time, Jay, and I couldn't find it.
They used to be on Netflix. I'm sure they pulled it off, but trust me, I'll look for it, and if I can find it, I'll leave a link in the description.
Okay.
But he was so paranoid, he recorded the whole White House so he could listen on his workers and people in his cabinet. Well, he forgot I was recording him, and so got the hold of it, made a documentary. And he's a bigot. He's sexist. He's racist. He's
shocking.
He's just sounds like your dumb drunk uncle. But apparently one night jumps in the car. I don't know if he had cocktails. I like to believe he did, and goes picks up one of his friends in Florida or somewhere in the middle of the night. So
and he's telling this story?
No. So I think it was Secret Service or something. This got leaked, and then years later came out. And so he did Secret Service because he didn't inform him. Goes and picks up his friend and goes, "Hey, you want to see some aliens?" And then drives him to a base, like an Air Force base or something. I want to say it's Florida, but I don't know. I think he might have drove cross state or something. It was like crazy. And then he shows his face to the guards. They're like, "What the fuck?" Okay, go in. And they contact Secret Service, and Secret Service gets there after so many hours. They were a little late, and then they get him out and the friend out. And they were like all pissed off.
But they saw aliens?
I don't know, but that's apparently the story. He took a friend to go see some shit. And man, Nick, can you become president? And I'm like, yes, we'll drive cross country tonight. Yeah, I don't care.
Let's go Area 51. We call it Area 50 now.
Well, it's kind of like when I don't know. I've seen aliens. I've done DMT. Those are aliens.
What are aliens though, dude? This is what I think too. Why are they? Shows like Ancient Aliens, right? You ever watch that show?
I watch it only when Action Bronson and his friends are watching it on Vice.
Okay, so Ancient Aliens is like basically the show about aliens, right? You know all about that, right? So why are they even having shows like this, right? Are they trying to desensitize us to something they're trying to reveal eventually? Because you watch these shows and it's like, damn, that's convincing as fuck.
Ancient Aliens is pretty old now, I think.
Oh, it is old.
Yeah,
but it's
10 plus years.
Fucking convincing. You watch that shit and you're like, oh, damn, how can I not believe that shit?
I watched a debunking video back in the day and it kind of turned me off of it. I like watching Action Bronson, watching it because he gets high but there's some guys on there that I think have turned out to be kind of quacky. But there's also some guys like Graham Hancock, which I always mention to you, who's on there. I think he probably regrets it now. But a lot of this stuff is interesting. The Samaritans, the first civilization we could track back to, they had the 10th planet, right? Nibiru, and with the I'm forgetting the names of the giants. Anyways, but I was actually watching that story the other night. It's the oldest story and that we know of, and it's long and it's hard to get through.
Sumerians, you mean?
Yeah. Did I say Samaritans? Get Samaritans? Yeah, Sumerians, and they tell a story. I keep falling asleep through it, but it has a flood story. Gee, where did the flood story come from? I don't know.
Right.
Look at the first version, not the second or third, and it's just interesting, man. It's interesting. Who the fuck knows? And they're finding shit all the time that push our history timeline farther and farther and farther back. We don't know shit.
That's the thing. Does somebody know? Do you think somebody knows?
Dude, so kind of this home team history guy I keep talking about, I do think whether it was Europe versus Africa, because you had Egypt was a powerhouse, and there was some knowledge there, some esoteric knowledge. Esoteric, right? Esoteric is what I watch. Nice. But esoteric. And, some knowledge that seemed to transition. But shit, the Egyptians probably lost it. It's like the Freemasons. They say they kind of have a lot of stuff with King Solomon's temple and Egypt. The Kabbalah with Judaism. It's just some interesting connections there.
Exactly. But thousands of miles apart.
Yeah, but they were communicating. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Jews were enslaved by the Egyptians. So to build the temples. apparently.
Right.
So, I do definitely think that I think someone, I think it was Greek, I forget who it was, went over and talked about this great lake under the pyramid. There's no lake there now, but I don't know. And they're finding these huge shafts under near Stonehenge and other places in the world. And
you get excited about those shafts, don't you?
So excited. Shafts. But yeah, so it's just so much shit's going on, dude, and there's just new information every day, and it's just take it with a grain of salt. Don't get caught up in the headlines and just kind of check it out. But things are changing.
Well, you're just talking about LiDAR. LiDAR is amazing fucking technology, man. Flying over a fucking deep fucking infested forest, and locating pyramids and locating structures and locating old communities. That's going to change everything. LiDAR's already changing shit. We already see it. And it's exposing some shit. It's pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah, they found I was watching a History Channel or something, Discovery Channel. They took the LiDAR down to, I want to say Peru, with the Incan Empire, where they're looking for gold because, the city of gold, and the Spanish came and they fucking booked it to the hills with the gold. And he said, fill this room up with gold or I'm going to kill your king, or, I forget exactly, but, that's what the Spanish knew. There's some gold, and they hid that shit.
Right.
And there's always the story of El Dorado, the city of gold, which could possibly be in California, it could be down in South America, who knows? But they took LiDAR down, and they found some new communities. Just a guy who had a drone. He was just one man dude, and he had a drone.
Nice.
And they went up there,
baby.
Got the machetes, and they didn't find gold, but they found some stuff.
Dude, Central America, there's some amazing fucking history there, man. Moctezuma and, exposing the gold to Cortez. And Cortez was a crazy motherfucker and went in there and fucking killed Moctezuma.
Yeah, dude, that hardcore history I watched, I listened to that. Dude, it goes into detail. It's insane.
Oh, dude, I studied all that shit. It's fucking amazing.
Moctezuma was the king at the time, right?
Yeah,
he was the Aztec king or Mayan.
Right, Aztec.
So he fucked up. He tried to test them, and as they took over villages and got closer, right? He then decided to invite them in,
right?
To try, and that was the big. Never invite a white dude into your house. Be creepy, but no, that was because once they were in, then they were like, "Oh, you're our prisoner."
Yep. Trapped his ass.
Yeah, and then and his people were like a rebellion against him for it.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. He had so many enemies, because he was basically a dictator, right? He had his fucking
just like Cortez in a way.
Right. He controlled everything, and so when Cortez reached out to the outer villages, like, hey, I want to rebel against this guy. Fuck yeah, we're all in.
Yeah.
He had it coming.
Well, and then Cortez was having his disagreements with Spain, and other people were trying. Spain was sending other people like, hey, because
they actually wanted Cortez back.
Yeah,
they told him, hey, you failed the mission, come on back.
He's like, fuck you.
And he said, fuck you, I'm staying.
Yeah, but
crazy fucker, man.
It's interesting. I would recommend going to Hardcore History and any of the subjects, but if you can find that,
how the fuck did we get here, Jay?
What, in my attic?
No, talking about fucking Aztecs.
Who knows, man? The weed's flowing, the beer's flowing, just having a good time. But I don't know, man. I fucking can't say enough about hardcore history. Just the details you get. Even talking about like what Moctezuma was hearing while they were on the beach still having little battles with the local villages.
Right.
What he was hearing. And then some of the villagers were like, yeah, fuck Moctezuma. Let's join up with you guys, And
amazing. And didn't know any language. And there's always that saying about they had weapons, Aztecs didn't have weapons. That's how they won. Weapons really didn't mean shit back then because it was so they found that it was so humid that their gunpowder wouldn't ignite. Mm-hmm. So weapons weren't even a huge factor. It was all about that communication with the outer villages and really rebelling against this fucking powerful leader that they didn't like.
Yeah, and they were having trouble bringing cannons in, and and then with the small quarters of the city and how it was on the lake, like they had some problems. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just like cut and dry. Like I always thought it was just cut and dry. They went in there, they fucking rocked them. They were like the badasses with the technology, and then you look into like it could have possibly went another way. Maybe eventually would have gone that way. The more Spanish that came over, but I don't know. History could have been a lot different. You never know.
You know what's badass is maybe not so badass. I don't know. I don't know if it's the British Museum or something, but Moctezuma gave Cortez his crown, and it was this elaborate fucking crown. I mean, just badass headdress, man. And he gave it to him as a gift, hoping that he would leave. Right, that was the idea. Bring him over for dinner, give him this crown. Hopefully, they'll leave. And supposedly, some museum has that crown somewhere.
It's not on public display, or
I think you can see it. Yeah, I think you can. That'd be badass to see.
Hopefully, you can find an image of it, throw it up. But that's just shows a different mentality of the Aztecs versus the Spanish.
Right.
Because Spanish are like, the crown ain't gonna do shit. I gotta pay off the king. I gotta pay for these boats. I gotta pay for these people, and I want to get rich.
Right.
And everyone else
And
wants
famous.
to get rich, and we don't care down to the last piece of gold we want. And I think that just shows the different kind of mind structure, because they're like, oh, you got a crown, dude. It should be good.
So, going back to conspiracy and these civilizations like the Sumerians, early Mayans, or early civilizations like that Olmecs, right? That's study these gods that are very similar. Where
Olmecs.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of Olmecs.
The what are those called? The
Olmecs.
I know, but the statue, they call it a certain thing. Those big old heads.
Oh, I thought they call them the Olmec heads or something.
Yeah, I forget what they call them. But anyways, where do those Spanish fit into that, right? Because obviously the fact that Moctezuma would do something like that was part of a kind of just a culture, right? That was kind of that culture there. But Spanish had that different culture. Where did that culture come from?
What do you mean?
Because
why were they different?
Yeah, why were they so different? As far as like wanting to take over, they had weapons. They were advanced in technology. They had weaponry. They had all this shit. So and the argument is there's two different groups of aliens, right? And one group came and built pyramids and told you about life and how to grow food and this and that. And then there's another set of aliens that came down and said, no, we gotta fuck those people up. Conspiracy.
Yeah, apparently there's like up to 50 species of aliens. Right. Or something. Yeah, and there's some underground. I don't know. I can't keep up different dimensions.
Gotta make sense though, right?
Gray men and there's like good, but apparently there's good and bad. And man, we're sounding like Alex Jones a little bit, but which I like Alex Jones a lot. Dude, Alex Jones, the last time he was on Joe Rogan's like 3-4 hours. I've watched that so many times. I just get so high and drink.
I've never listened to that guy.
So entertaining. It's so entertaining because he's just also a goofball having fun.
Okay.
But and he's drunk and high, and it's funny, and he gets pissed off and angry.
We're better, Jay.
Yeah, but Alex Jones, we'll have you on, bro. We'll probably get us yanked off, but we'll do it. But no, I don't know, maybe aliens or whatever. But I think on a smaller, minor scale, is that like it's. You had Europe, you had the Spanish versus the Portuguese, the French, the British, the Germans, the Germanic tribe, which was Prussia, I think at the time. I'm not sure about that, but you had the Russians, you had people in Ukraine. There's all these different types of people that were fighting for power. I mean, World War I was created because who got assassinated?
I don't know, but that was probably thousands of years after Olmecs and Sumerians.
Well, the Spanish that went to the Aztecs were way after the Olmecs, because the Aztecs were way after the Olmecs.
Right.
So, but I'm saying like probably with the Spanish and Aztecs specifically, I think it was Europe was competing with each other, and they knew they had to get these trade routes and slave, and I think it was just competition. That is very capitalistic, I assume, but or more of a dictator. But they just were going, grab more land. Whoever has the most land wins. Whoever gets the most resources, whoever gets the most gold wins. Then we could, because you see these different places in Europe be strong, and then all of a sudden this happens, and they're weak, and then, it's just crazy.
You know what? And it's what a time to be alive, huh, Jay? That would have been fucking crazy to be alive at that time.
Nah, no, thank you.
Right?
I'm cool right here.